All right, moved into the new house, as you can tell. Um, Everything's unboxed, I think. And yeah, just now filling the house because we realized how much we don't have. Like a room that's empty, but loving the kitchen and such. We also have this, it's a good problem, but there's these windows up there and it puts light on this wall that we want to put the TV on, but then we need to get shades. So looking at like those automated shades, but I don't know the dimensions of that window up there. So I got to get that from the builder. Anyways, it's a kitchen, master downstairs, and it wraps around to a laundry room and a walk-in closet, and then the other bedroom, and then bathroom, closets, and then upstairs it's 2 rooms and an open family area, and then the Texas basement. It's like the attic. That's what everyone says. So, 2-car garage. Got a yard back there fenced in. Um, Exterior gas line, which is awesome. So we can hook up a generator, so we can power the house when the electricity goes off with the hurricanes and such. So good idea with the Generac or Kohler system. So we're going to do that. Got to replace. I got to replace the flooring, some of the carpets. So downstairs, gonna get the tile. We bought the tile so we can match it, and then upstairs we're doing a vinyl, a light vinyl, eight. I think it's 8 millimeter thick, like a thicker one, so it reduces sound and it lasts longer. But again, trying to reduce as much noise from like kids walking around upstairs. But like the ceilings are pretty tall. We have like 8-foot doors, right? So, so you don't really hear the kids up there, and they run around quite a bit. So again, still in the Houston area and Siena. It's building up around here, which is nice. To me, it's a good investment. The same way that when we bought the house in Florida in Riverview, it wasn't as developed, and it kept developing, which then helps increase your property value if the area stays nice. And Siena, in my opinion, will stay nice because they have a very high property tax. And again, it changes from county or city to city, and realizing that. But so it adds like an extra like grand or a little bit more maybe to your mortgage. So the houses in Texas might be cheap, but it's like the property taxes is also what gets you. So higher property tax probably going to, segregate some of the lower income and help keep property values up high. And so does like having a stricter HOA, which I'm not a big fan of HOAs, but the community center has like huge pools, I think a couple pools, huge slides, zip line, splash pad, playground, all that stuff for the kids. Still haven't gotten our passes, so I don't know really what's in there. But anyways, more importantly, the eczema, get some light, has gone away a bit on my hand. It has some flare-ups where it opens up, which if you're dealing with it, I mean, it does kind of suck because you have corticosteroids that you can put topically on, but you also don't want to like touch things or eat anything. It's like eat food and then it will cross-contaminate into your own saliva, so you have to let it kind of set in for a little bit before you do anything. So dealing with that, it's pretty much controlled everywhere else. It did flare up a little bit whenever I was out of the SBO, the Trinity, so the pre, post, and para probiotics from Ancient Nutrition. So that, and got that back in stock. So implementing that in and not really doing so much of the corticosteroids, it does thin the skin. And again, I've had this since I was very, very young, and I don't know what permanent damage it has done. I mean, I do have a low FSH and LH, low testosterone, and so exogenous testosterone or TRT, HRT is what I'm on. I've been on that for a while, and so yeah, I'm also implementing turmeric. This is going to be triple certified, regenerative organic certified. 95% of those ingredients are coming from farms in Montana and Tennessee from Ancient Nutrition. Cool thing about this turmeric, it's not going to be like the 98% curcuminoids extract. It's going to be a fermented, mycelated form of turmeric and other mushrooms. So your body's able to absorb this, right? So a lot of times, even in the greens powders, you have like raw grasses, they're not fermented, they're not juices. So kind of the same thing when it comes to herbs. You want to have it fermented, kind of broken down already for the body to be able to absorb the nutrition from it and utilize it. We're not like a cow. We don't have 6 different stomachs to break down and ferment things. Really good products by Ancient Nutrition. When you see any of these, any product really that's going to be fermented, that's really what we stand by. But the new regenerative organic certified line is like hands down top tier, right? So you do that plus even the probiotics. These are supposed to be refrigerated, but they're SBOs. They can survive outside of the refrigerator. The metabolism, this isn't supposed to like boost metabolism to where it's like, I can eat whatever I want. My T3 is way high. No, I think of it more as like a regulating your metabolism. Metabolism means, breaking things down and absorbing things. Metabolism does not mean fat loss or muscle loss, right? There's a lot of things that go into the word metabolism. It's kind of like inflammation. Inflammation always isn't bad. You do need inflammation, and you need a prostaglandin release. You need these things. So I already have a hyperthyroid. Like I have an overactive thyroid. My T3 is very high. My reverse T3 is very low. My T4 is low. My TSH is low. So I eat about 4,300 calories a day, roughly, give or take. But I'm over that 4,000 calorie per day. So it sucks when it comes to putting on muscle and maintaining muscle. But it's an advantage whenever you do want to drop a little bit, but you also lose muscle whenever you start losing weight. So 6 foot, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm in my 30s. Trying to maintain and keep as much muscle as possible to prevent sarcopenia, prevent loss of bone mass, and many other diseases that may come throughout the life. High protein is really what I'm seeking. Like a moderate saturated fat, just to make sure the hormone levels are where they're supposed to be. Again, I don't really produce testosterone. I don't really produce estrogen. My estrogen's down as well. But again, it kind of, in theory, I think that it's from the stuff that I went through whenever I was a kid, and in '88, having atopic dermatitis to being pretty severe. I don't know if they knew what they were doing, and they said that everything would be stunted growth and such, and I wouldn't be able to have kids. So have kids? Yes, they are mine. So blessing, Oh, dang it. You're in my cabinet. So it is what it is. Really can't complain. Oh yeah, we're changing the fans. We're gonna get a mimetiker of a big ass fan. So it's gonna mimic the big ass fan, but it's not. It's Fanamatics. I don't know, but that one's gonna have pretty big. It's like 70 something inches. In the bedroom we have a 64 inch for the master, and every other room will have the 52 inch. If you're going to go with fans, upgrading it, I highly recommend getting 3 blades, especially having lived in Florida, living in Texas now. 3 blades, it produces much better airflow, way better airflow. We're also going to be getting rid of these knobs. We're going to be getting levers, black levers, because right now the kids' hands are too tiny to even open the doors when they're holding something else. But also the aesthetic appeal. I'm all about the aesthetics and the flow of everything. So same thing over here, like in the bathroom, they have like the faucets, right? So the faucets are chrome, but they also have like nickel accessories. So we're gonna get all those changed. Maybe champagne bronze or black. We're not really sure, at least for the faucets, but for the accessories, black for sure. this flow, I just want it to flow very cohesive, right? That's one thing about when you're purchasing a home, that you want things to, I guess, to make you feel like happy coming in, right? So same thing with these. My wife doesn't like them, so we're going to change them, even though these were like an upgrade. But she doesn't like the square boxes, so a lot of things are not going to be like modern square, where I like the square, but so we're going to compromise and have a little bit more roundness to it, a little bit more curvature, but not so much to where it is like contemporary or farmhouse, right? So yeah, pretty awesome. A lot of cool things, a lot of cool Bluetooth, Wi-Fi things here with the ACs and appliances. So really, really awesome. Blessed to have gotten this home or this house, and then we can make it a home, right? By what's in it. So waiting on a few things. Don't want to spend all of our money at once. Having money saved in an account to where we can earn 5% interest on our money, and then slowly upgrading and anticipating some of the upcoming expenses, especially having kids. But couch will be coming soon, so we're looking at like 2 different sectionals. Kids want bunk beds, and there's just some stuff like that, some odds and ends that we're looking at. And yeah, so but we'll see how my eczema turns out, having been out of that home that had mold, which I don't know what's going to happen to that house. I hope that no one has to live in there, but we'll see. So we're supposed to be prorated too, so I think we should be getting money back for the security deposit, because the house is way cleaner than what we came in as. So anyways, kids ate everything. Everything's done for the night. Wife is out getting a massage. She has a pinched nerve in her cervical or C-spine, cervical spine. And then I'm going to do a walking tour with my parents of the house. They're in Florida. All the other families in Florida. So see the house and call it a night. And then tomorrow off to Louisiana. So awesome. If you have any questions about eczema, living in the heat of Texas or Florida, the seasons, what blooms, what aggravates the autoimmune of the eczema. Again, everyone's eczema is different, triggered by different things. Stress is a big deal. I'm not stressed right now. So a lot of it is, I think, that mold's still in my body, trying to get rid of it. Some cilantro to get rid of it as well. If I can find some EDTA, I will. But I'm not a big fan of buying it off on Amazon, because I don't trust some of the people on Amazon. Even if it's a reputable brand, people have label makers and they can fake a label. So yeah, I'm doing that, the probiotic, the kefir, things like that. So just drop any comments. We could kind of go through what has and what hasn't worked, or what I maybe want to implement, and maybe someone has something that they've done and it works. So just trying to really focus this channel more on like autoimmune diseases, or just nutrition to help with autoimmune diseases, or eczema, even thyroid conditions, or Hashimoto's, things like that I think that I can help you with, just giving you some advice and not really diagnosing. But hey, it's on YouTube, it's free, and hopefully my experience can help somebody else. All right. So again, just leave any questions you have below. Forward this, share this with anybody that has the symptoms, and I can help you through it. Again, I'm really cleared up, and it's been so severe that I've been on Dupixent, and diet, lifestyle has definitely changed the way that my body responds. It's definitely changed the way that my body has mutated and evolved. So talk to you guys later. All right, so since I'm driving, I thought I'd go ahead and just ramble my thoughts because that's what I like to do. But listening to Sal DiStefano of Mind Pump, it's being interviewed by Bradley Martin. But he's talking about peptides, and specifically, can't say that word. Specifically, he's talking about the GLP-1 agonist because he went to a peptide conference and was learning more about it, and they're talking about how GLP-1 agonists get a bad rep for making people lose muscle mass and lose weight rapidly in a very unhealthy manner, but that's not the case. It is muscle preserving, so it helps to shuttle the amino acids into the muscle cells. So it makes sense, right? Because if you are going through a famine or low food, kind of like tribal people, you want as much muscle as possible to be maintained so that whenever you need to feed or need to move, or your adrenaline kicks in, you have that muscle available, right? So the body's pretty smart in that. It slows GI tract down. That's the one thing I don't like about the GLP-1 agonist. It's a slow transient time. But these studies talking about how it's muscle preserving, yes, if given to someone who is also eating an adequate amount of protein and good quality protein, so not a lot of processed protein like we might have here in the United States, where people, the average person that's using this, they're probably getting processed foods, and it's not the most optimal form of protein, nor the correct balance of amino acids. The other thing is that they're also not accounting in these studies, these rat studies, and saying that's muscle preserving, they're not accounting stress. So life is very stressful, and there's a lot of different types of stress. So you have a eustress and a de-stress. So physical activity is going to be a eustress, it's going to be positive when done in moderation. But they're not taking into account like all this daily stress that we have. We're not taking into account of this metabolic stress from preservative in our foods and processed foods. They're not taking into account just all these other factors of LED lights, screen time, sitting down for a long period of time, activating these proteins, these enzymes that try to store body fat. So they're not counting all these things. So studies are cool, it helps us learn, but there's too many variables, and then they try to promise these things on some of these studies. I get it. I get why they do it. I've been through classes, totally understand. But to be on a podcast and to say these things, telling people, like this is like the future, that's wrong. It's just wrong. The reason why is because you're not creating any habits. These people, they're typically going to be trying to use that drug, that peptide, over and over again to receive the same results. But you might have diminishing effects. Like there may be. But I think that the Americans and the people worldwide, I say American because in America we think that there's some magical pill that's going to help us lose weight, lose body fat, and maintain this perfect physique that is not even ours. It's like someone else's physique that we see. So there's like a deception of like really what our own physique, our optimal physique looks like, especially if you haven't put in the work. Anyways, that's a tangent. Like, it's just these people using this, they need to just really understand that the diet and the lifestyle, the activity is going to get them the results. Now, he brought up a study saying, they gave one group of people semaglutide, and then they gave another people nothing. They controlled the calories, and then the people who were taking the GLP-1 agonist lost more weight, and then they regained weight slowly after coming off. Now, first of all, they're regaining weight because they haven't established any type of healthy habits, nor did they like it. And he didn't say if they did physical activity or not. So nor did he say what type of like diet are they on, right? Because a lot of times in the medical field, when they do these studies, they want people to be on a low carb, like
like vegetarian based, not so much red meat, because they think red meat causes cancer. Whenever that's not the case, that's a screwed up study. Like there's so many variables that it just stop talking about these studies. Like, it's fine to use anecdotal evidence from people who have used it and such, but it's just why are these people why are people seeking out these peptide drugs that, or these peptides that like think that they're going to be this miracle drug or this miracle injection or this miracle pill? Like, when like we're not doing the same thing for knowledge. Why are we doing it for like physical activity, right? Like, what do you really think that Neuralink is going to be optimal for us to be able to enhance cognition? No, like, it's tried and true. The physiological body was made, whether you believe in God or not believe in God, there's some sort of creator that made the body the way it is to progress in a certain manner. There's just laws that you cannot go against, and when you do, you start screwing things up. So I'll use peptides. I use them. I use injectable amino acids. I use HRT. I use all those things. But also, like, for clients, I really tell them what to expect, like what's reality. And so I think that some people, they go on these podcasts, and yeah, it's clickbait. It's really cool that they get all these views, and this is how they get their money and such. But it's just it's ruining society, right? Like, people need to understand, like, there's no special peptide. There's no special drug. There won't be, because if you're on it, you're going to develop some sort of habit forming or addiction to it, and it's going to have a negative effect. It might have a mirroring effect. So whatever goes up, it has to go down the same amount. Like, I don't think people get this. And it's supposed to be a tool used to help you develop good, healthy habits and a good, healthy lifestyle. But the problem is that we're going to be seeing our children looking at us who are using these things, and then they see this rebound, this roller coaster effect of peaks and troughs, and that's going to affect them the way that they proceed in the future. They think that they need something like a peptide or a drug to enhance themselves or to make themselves better, because that's what society's doing now. And they're looking at this, and then they're hoping to find more research and more technology development to create something better. But if anything, like, we're going to hit a point to where it is just going to negatively impact our body, that we're going to be so dependent on everything else that you can't function without some sort of dependency, which is all great. If pharma loves that, right? Government loves that. Pharma loves it. Socialism loves it. Communism loves it. They love it, right? So if you're a fan of that, that's great. But I'm a fan of, like, having some sort of like freedom, which is created from me making my own decisions, and then allowing my body to naturally recomp into a weight, body mass, muscle tone that it should, right? I just don't think people get it. And people won't be satisfied until they get that special peptide. Just a rant. Yeah, it's cool to talk about these things. I find it really fascinating, but I also find it just kind of like demoralizing at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. That's the way my brain works, right? Yeah, use that as a tool, right? Use it as a tool. Don't use it as a one thing fix all, right? So, anyways, what's your thoughts on GLP-1 agonist? Is that legitimately the future to create independence, or is it going to create dependency?